JJ's my dog, I mean, that's my guy. Great dude, great person. I can't say enough good things about him. He wants to be great in this league, and you can tell that by his preparation, what he does during the week, what he does every day, how he handles himself in the buildings. And so you gotta love that from a guy like him.
Welcome to the Greenlight Podcast presented by BetMGM. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code Greenlight and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code Greenlight. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. If that bet loses, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just make sure you use bonus code Greenlight when you sign up. All right, so we got another stud Viking on the show. We got to have on one of the newest faces on the Minnesota Vikings a few weeks ago, John Allen. And now we've got probably one of the best tight ends in the league, TJ Hockenson, joining us on Greenlight. TJ, how you doing, man?
Fantastic. Appreciate you having me, man.
Dude, great having you. I was just saying we were catching up offline when we got to visit Minnesota last year. We were so impressed with just everything, the program, the people in the building, the guys on the team. It just seems like a great place to play. How much does it help when you're having a tough year like last year, doing a lot of rehabbing, hitting the ground running and all that stuff? I know it can be a long offseason when you're rehabbing something like that. To be in a building with that kind of energy and that kind of life to it.
It's huge, honestly. You said it, like the people in the facility, having KO, having Kwesi, having the upstairs, and then I was working with the rehab staff with Tyler, Maddie, all those guys, and I can't say enough good things about them. I mean, it's one of those places, when you're in the league, sometimes you got to make sure you got your back, you got your back, and here you can trust the people that you walk into the facility with every day. They're going to tell you like it is. They're going to do what's best for you. And that was the experience that I had, going through that entire process with my knee with them was, we were tracking stuff. They were showing me the data. They were always making sure that we stayed on schedule. We had a plan, and to be able to be in a facility like that with the top-notch technology and everything that we need, and then with top-notch people, those two things go hand in hand. So it's truly a special place. I can't say enough good things about it. I love being here, and hopefully I'm here for a long more time.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, they even had Aquapana water in the
Yeah.
damn refrigerators. I was like, holy hell, dude! This place they spare no expense.
Yeah, we're not trying to get the plastic in the bodies. You got to have
Yeah,
those
no,
glass
dude.
bottles.
What are they calling
Yeah.
this? Microplastics. So
The
I think we
microplastics,
got
man.
plenty of microplastics. There's no avoiding it. But like when you have an ACL and you're an athlete that has to block, you have to do some of the inline stuff. You have to get out on the perimeter and block. You have to be in space, running routes, like elevating for the football. It just feels like there's no way around a knee when you're rehabbing and rejoining the team like mid-season. I think it was like week 8 or 9 for you. Like, how tough can that be? And then for a tight end, what is the hardest part about rehabbing an ACL when you get out on the field, gaining the confidence? Like, which area is it that it is hardest to gain that confidence?
Yeah, like you said, we have to do everything. We have to be able to block. We have to be able to catch. We got to be, with the cues and everything. We got to be with the line and everything. We got to be with the wide receivers and everything. So, when you're going through that rehab, I think one of the hardest things was just getting, when I run my routes, I kind of have a little bit of a, left and right with me. I got a little bit of a wiggle to be able to release against man, to be able to separate against man. I think that was one of the parts where you don't want to run like a robot still. You want to run like yourself, and you don't want to rehab it to where you're sprinting, you're running like a sprinter, you're doing that kind of stuff. You're still playing football at the end of the day. So I think that was one of my goals when I was going through it, was still be you, still run like you, still cut like you, still do the same things that you've done and try to, tweak them so they're better. But that was a big thing. And then another one was, you have to block. And so you're blocking guys that are 275, 280 pounds. They're 30, 45, 40, 50 pounds heavier than you. And so, really getting the confidence of pressing back on them with that knee, because you gotta set block, you gotta stay on your heels, you gotta make sure you got everything going. And if you are at all uncomfortable and you try to change something, things can happen just like that, and things can go south. So I think those two things were huge for me, coming back from that and just focusing on that and really getting the weight on my back, getting the weight on my legs, getting everything back to where they needed to be in order to, come back and make an impact like we were able to do. So
And just hit me. You got Hinks too. Josh, we had Josh in
yeah,
Philly, so it's like we knew everybody in that building. It was such a great building. And then another guy I didn't get a chance to talk to or see was JJ McCarthy. Obviously, at this point, I think when we came through, he had already hurt himself. It's just so
okay.
impressive. Like immediately out of the gate, the tape of that one start for him in the preseason, or that one big day he got work. You're like, this kid's got it. He gets hurt. You're spending most of the time on the training table, getting treatment during the year. Are you guys kind of intentionally getting to know each other a little bit better so that you can hit the ground running when it's time?
Yeah, JJ's my dog, I mean, that's my guy. Great dude, great person. I can't say enough good things about him. He wants to be great in this league, and you can tell that by his preparation, what he does during the week, what he does every day, how he handles himself in the buildings. And so you gotta love that from a guy like him, and who's coming into the building, who got hurt his first year. He's intentional about everything. And I just we all try to hang out outside of the building, so we just went on a golf trip. So I spent 4 days nonstop with JJ. We were staying in the same place, and so just stuff like that is huge for team building, huge for being able to communicate on the field, huge for just being boys in general. I mean, so that's my dog. I think he's going to be incredible, and I can't wait for that to translate to Sunday. What you guys saw in camp last year, and what you see every day, just being able to talk to him. He's always asking the right questions. He's always trying to learn. And so I can't say enough good things about that guy. I think you're just going to have to see it when it comes around.
Is there an innate trait or physical trait, that he has that kind of separates him from other rookies? And you've caught balls from a lot of guys so far in your career. I
Yeah.
mean, which is it's a
Yeah.
talent to be able to do as much as you have with so many quarterbacks. But with him, what do you think separates him? What's going to be his calling card?
I mean, I think it really is his mind. He has a calming effect, but also an intentional effect. When he's trying to communicate with you about what he wants on routes, what we want on routes. He's learning about us as an offense, us as wide receivers. He wants to know the game of football, and that's huge as a young guy. You got to be able to learn the game, because it's a little different from stepping from college to the NFL. These guys are a little smarter up here, and they use their leverages. They will take chances when they need to, and to be able to learn that and learn the circumstances behind that and what they're doing is huge. And so he's always asking questions. His arm talent is there. He's
Yeah.
got a sick arm. I remember catching, and I told him this the other day. I said I remember catching passes from staff, and it was one of those balls where it just zips on you. It
You can
looks
hear
like
it.
it's not. Yeah, it looks like it's not coming, but it's coming.
Yeah.
And JJ's got the juice behind it, where it kind of has that effect where it doesn't look like it's coming. It's a tight spiral, but it's coming.
Yeah.
It's humming in the air. So. He's got an insane talent, arm talent, and really the personality that he has goes really well. And I think he's going to have a long career.
You know, we mentioned all the quarterbacks. You mentioned Stafford. You've caught balls from guys like Josh Dobbs. I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah, you had the Dobbs the Dobbs
Dobbs effect.
run, the Dobbs
Yeah.
effect, which was like
Pastronaut.
the passion. I'll never forget that. And then you got Sam Darnold, who, I mean, you couldn't
Yeah.
help but root for him this year, and to see him get the
Yeah.
big deal. Let's start there with Sam. Like, how exciting was it to see him realize his potential this year, and how gratifying is it to see him get paid this year and kind of leave on good terms? I felt like it was good terms, like
Yeah.
mutually beneficial stop, and everybody gets what they want.
It was awesome. Sam's a great person. Again, I've played in this league for a long time, and I've been lucky enough to be around great quarterbacks and just great people. You talk about Stafford, you talk about Jared Goff, you talk about,
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs, JJ, Sam. So all these guys, they're just great people, and so Sam was one of those really good people. He was a boy's boy. Loved hanging out with the guys. Wanted to go play golf. Wanted to hang out. I mean, and to watch him. I was obviously injured, so watch him on the sideline for OTAs. Watch him on the sideline for camp, and just seeing what he's able to do, and obviously his arm talent as well. And then for him to be able to go from read to read to read, and really, scan the offense and do his scans, but then scan the defense and understand what they're trying to do too. And with Flo on the other side during camp, there's a lot of confusing looks. There's a
That's
lot
tough.
of stuff coming at you, so to watch his poise in the pocket for that was a lot of fun to see, and you kind of knew it was coming in camp, and so to watch him those first 5 games was electric. I was just so stoked to be able to see him do well, and then when I came back week 9 or 10, and we kind of just hit the ground running. There was already kind of a connection built because we knew each other off the field. We hung out a lot. Another guy that I was close to. So the connection just came on the field right away, and it was a lot of fun. So to see him get paid in Seattle was awesome. I wish nothing but the best for him. I still talk to him all the time. We're
Yeah.
still sending each other DMs all the
Yeah.
time. So that's another one of my boys. So
Yeah.
wish him nothing but the best for sure.
I saw Sam at the Jelly Roll concert at the Super Bowl. He was out there kicking it.
Yeah.
He's a big dude. He's actually bigger than I thought. And man, we got to find you a forever quarterback. Hey, you keep getting all you're like, I like this dude. He's cool. These are my boys. And then like
Yeah.
guys keep moving on or what have you. But definitely
Yeah.
rooting for him. And then going back to the Pastronaut, man, Josh Dobbs, when it's happening, like we as fans and as former players, we're watching, we're looking from the outside in, but we don't know what y'all are thinking. Are y'all just kind of like, we know this is temporary, but this is going to be the most fun little
It was
chapter?
sick,
I mean,
dude.
it
It
was like
was
it
so
felt like every
sick.
week had something else in store.
Yeah, I mean those first 3 4 weeks was awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, Kirk got hurt, and then they brought him in, and it was like, okay, we're gonna try to give him a week, and then we had another guy that got hurt the next week in Atlanta, and Josh came in and was like, he didn't really know the offense. He kind of heard the plays, said the plays, and he'd be like, hey, what's my first read here? And we'd like go to the left, man. And then,
yes,
like it was kind of, he was in the huddle like, hey, what's a thunder route, or like
yeah,
what's this route? What's a scout route? Like stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun to kind of just walk him through that in the huddle when you have 40 seconds to go, and you got to hurry up and you got to do that kind of stuff. And just another great dude. He was down in Mexico. We did that golf tournament and hung out with him, and so
man.
that was a lot of fun to be able to. And he can sling it too. He's one of those guys that's not afraid to throw the ball.
Or run,
So he, yeah,
run, dude. I saw him. I don't know if it was because it was Jaron Hall that got hurt, right? That game.
yeah, it was Jaron.
He
Yep.
like fucked himself up on the goal line. I feel like it was like
Yeah, got concussed. Yeah, it
he
was
went
tough.
like movie hero at the goal line, got fucked up, and then Josh Dobbs came in and had that movie play down at the right pylon where he
Yeah,
ran away from like I don't know who he ran away from, but
gave that little juke and then
oh
right
my
into the. Oh yeah,
god, dude, it's like
yeah,
one of the best games I ever saw, man. And
yeah.
but yeah, no,
I mean, took the 2 minute drive all the way down for a tud to win the game. Like
crazy.
That was his first game. That was like he didn't he had been there for 3 days. Like as a quarterback, you gotta know the offense, and he was just spitting out these plays that he was hearing, but he didn't really necessarily understand. So he'd be in the huddle like, hey, you guys gotta help me with this protection, or hey, where's my first read, or hey, what should I look here, and it was dope. It was honestly a lot of fun just because it's like you had all 11 involved in that every
Yeah.
play, and you're like, I got your back, man. I
Yeah.
got your back. So it was dope.
I think it probably also speaks to KOC, getting a chance to talk to him once or twice. Just magnetic, man. Like, can
Yeah.
you speak to what his personality is in the building to you, the players? I mean, we see from the outside looking in, but who is he really to y'all?
I mean, he played in this league for a long time, so he knows what it's about. He understands that side of it, and he understands us as players, and he can communicate with us as players. So that's like one of the best things that we love KO because it's like he talks to us like we're on his level, and it's not like
Hmm.
you're talking down to each other. It's what he asks of us is what he's going to get from us. What he like we have that kind of relationship with him as players. Like if he asks us to do something or he asks something of us, we're going to make sure that's something that we're going to get done,
Yeah.
and KO's again, he's one of those guys that he'll ask you to go golf. He'll talk to you outside the building. He wants to build relationship with his players, and you don't always get that from a head coach. You don't always get that from a guy that's higher up. And KO is one of those people that's just super down to earth. Is going to expect a lot out of you, which you want, and so he'll tell you like it is. He's not going to work around the bush. He's going to be a straight shooter with you. And so that's something that we respect as players. We just want to know what's going on, and good, right, or the other. We just want to know exactly what you're thinking, and he's gonna tell you like it is, and that's the best part of having him around the building, and just the affection that he gives. Like you really truly feel like he cares about you when you step in that building, and even after football, you talk to guys that have left, and they're like, KO still reaches out and talks to you a little better when he sees you. It's just like it was, a couple years ago. So, that's another piece of the puzzle that you just got to have a great head coach like him, and to see him win Coach of the Year this last year, and to see the success that he's been able to have, and then to be able to extend his contract and stay a lot longer is a lot of fun just to be able to have that stability. So it's great to be able to play under a guy like that, and just you're talking about his football mind too. Like this guy is smart as can be. Like you always know we're gonna have something dialed up. You always know that you can, trust what he's got in his bag, and we're always we feel as if we're the most prepared team walking into Sunday, having him around. So it's a lot of fun.
Is he taller than Dan Campbell? Two tallest coaches in the league, I believe.
I think he's got him.
Good.
Yeah, I don't
All right.
know. It's
All
pretty
right.
close.
All
It's
right.
pretty
Well,
close.
he just needs to get in the weight room.
He was just talking about that today.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, he does a hell of a lot. He cannot block the three technique himself. He can't block the defensive end himself. You guys made it a big deal after that Rams game, and like, hey,
yeah.
no need to sugarcoat it. Y'all just got beat up front, and I know you guys were a damn good team, but
Yeah.
trying to avoid being in that situation again. What are you seeing so far from the reinforcements? It's got to be exciting.
Oh, it's awesome. You have RK here, you have Will here. Those guys are going to be awesome additions up front. To have our, new guy that we drafted is going to be incredible. We have, Brian O'Neill. We've got Blake Brandel. We got guys that are in this system already that are awesome to be around. And again, we're boys. We hang out outside of here. We went
Yeah,
on a golf trip again, and so
y'all like
just
golf.
to build that relationship with Ryan, who's new, to be able to, he was only, I've only known him for a couple weeks, but now it feels like I've known him for a long time. Just after a few days, just him and us and the boys, it's a lot of fun. So that's the best part about this place, dude, is they encourage you to go do stuff outside the building. They encourage you to go hang out outside of the building. And, that always translates to Sunday. And that's something that, you got to hear from upstairs, I want you guys to go out, I
Yeah.
want you guys to go have fun. I want you guys
Yeah.
to live the life, rather than, football all the time. And which is, you got to have football. You got to be there when you're there. But, to build relationships outside the building with these guys because I'm communicating with him on Sunday and I got to make sure that he knows that I got his back and I know that he has mine. So those things are massive and that's all that we do is build that inside this facility. So
No question. That's the most important thing, liking each other. If you like each other, you're going to go the extra mile, and there we go
exactly.
down the line. But let me hit you with a couple quick hitters and let you go. These are rapid fire here for you. I think your division in the middle of the field is hell for defenders and for tight ends and offensive players. There's a lot of great nickels, a lot of great safeties. Who stands out to you where you're like, this is going to be a long day?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you talk about Detroit. We gotta get that one
Got to
going.
get that one. Yeah.
Yeah, Kirby Joseph is a great safety to have him come down guard you. They put a linebacker on you in Anzalone, and I've played there. So I
Yeah.
know all those guys, and so Anzalone is a great. I mean, he's a competitive guy.
Yeah.
You're not always gonna get one up on him. He's going to get his and you're going to get yours. And so you just got to make sure that you're ready to go when you play those guys. And, we'll see how they are this year. Obviously, they lost a DC and an OC. So there's going to be some maneuvering going on over there. But I think those guys always stand out to us when we're playing them for sure.
All right, last one here. Toughest defensive end in the league to base block.
Oh, man. Well, it depends if the game's on the line, sometimes they're a little,
The change of speed, man. I
yeah.
don't get the change of speed. I never could change speed. I didn't have the luxury.
Yeah, I think one of my second and third year when Khalil Mack was at the Bears.
Yeah,
He was one of the harder people to baseball because he just come at you, he'd come downhill at you. Nick Bosa is another guy we've had to play him the last couple of years, and he's either going to swim you or he's just going to go through your face, and you just
right,
don't know which one it is.
right.
And so you got to be ready for both and. The moment you think he's going to bull you, he'll swim you and try to get backdoor on you. And, you just got to ride the wave and hopefully he doesn't make the block. So I think those two guys are definitely dudes that stand out.
Well, it feels like the better the defender, the more leeway they have to freestyle. And it makes it even harder,
Exactly.
right? Like when you're like kind of you're coming up in the league as a defensive end, you're like, I'm a C gap player. I'm
Yep.
setting the edge, whatever it is, I'm a two-man service, I'm going to be right here. But the better guys are, the more they will Olay you. I mean, it's like the
Yeah.
Brandon Graham thing. I don't know if you ever played Brandon Graham.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's never seen a backdoor he didn't like. so,
That's a
so,
true
yeah,
statement. That's
yeah,
a
yeah,
true statement. No, that's the hardest ones to block,
yeah.
I mean, really, you have the C gap. I know you have the C gap. I got to cut you off right now. Nah, you're going back door, like
Yeah.
that's the worst ones
Dude.
because you're taking a big reach to go down there and they're just like, nah, I'm gonna go this way.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Some crafty
so
dudes, man, and you're a hell of a player, man. It's been fun watching you play, dude, and wishing you
I
the best
appreciate
this
you.
year. And do me a favor,
I'm a big fan of yours,
thanks,
dude, and I
man. I
appreciate
appreciate
you
it.
having me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. Hey,
thank you.
come on anytime and tell Tyler I said what's up, man.
I will. I
Okay.
will.
All right,
No
man.
doubt.